Hello and welcome to another Anicca webinar with myself, Jess, and we also have Gurpreet with us. She is Head of Paid Media Operations, so she's going to be taking us through our webinar today, Paid Search Marketing, Understanding the Basics. So we've got a few polls to run through this morning, so let's get those started. So first poll is, are you actively considering paid search advertising? So just an easy yes or no. Let's have a look at the answers we've got coming through. So yes. Good. Good responses for that one. Brilliant. So 100% of people saying yes there. And then our second poll that we have is, which search engine do you use? So are you using Google, Bing, or are you using another search engine? Let's have a look at the answers. So far, Google coming up with the main responses there being Google. Brilliant. Okay then. So like I said, feel free to answer any questions in the chat as we go along. And I'm sure Gurpreet will be able to jump on those and answer them. But like I said, we'll also have some time at the end to do some more questions and answers. So feel free to collect some so we can answer them at the end. So I'm going to be quiet now and I will hand over to Gurpreet.
Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. I'm Gurpreet Bassi and today I will be taking you through paid search marketing, understanding the basics. So just a little bit about myself. I am the head of paid media here at Anicca Digital. I've worked with the agency for about 10 years now and I've been within the industry for 15 years. So straight after graduating, this is the industry that I came into. I've worked with clients of lots of different shapes and sizes. So some with really large budgets, some with smaller budgets, household names, startups. So I've really seen paid search used in a number of different ways. Some have been great, some not so great. So I'm just in this presentation, just want to take you through the basics, and if it's something that you're considering or you want to know more about, then hopefully this webinar will be a perfect starting point for you. So what we will cover today, so what is paid search advertising? So what does it look like? How does paid search perform compared to organic search? Can't really talk about one without talking about the other, so we will cover a little bit of organic as well. Why would you use it, and also why you wouldn't use it? So we're going to keep it very honest. Elements of paid search. So, well, how would you go about setting it up? What are the steps that you would need to take? How it works and how you measure the results, because that is very important. Okay, so what is paid search? So one thing to note that you may not always hear it called paid search. It can also be called PPC, which stands for pay per click. And ultimately, paid search is advertising within search results and paying only when the user clicks an ad. So when we talk about search results, we're talking about search engines. So Google is the biggest one. There is also Bing as well, and there are a few others. So it's predominantly within search results where you pay for the click to your ad copy. So let's have a look at what that actually looks like. So if you look to the right of the screen, we've got a screenshot of Google. So somebody's searched on hotels near me. The ad at the top, which has a box around it in red, that is your paid for listing. And you will know it's a paid for listing because you'll see ad, the word ad next to it. And that's how you know it's an ad and it is paid for. And then if you look underneath, you can see the organic listings. in the blue box, and they don't have a little ad symbol next to them. So that means that they are organic listings. So the paid search ad listings can appear above, below, and to the side of search results. Sometimes it is entirely up to Google how they show. Typically, they do tend to be the first things that you see on the screen. There are a couple of times where if you don't see an ad, if you scroll to the bottom, it may well be at the bottom of the screen. So predominantly they are at the top, but they can show at the bottom. And for traditional paid search, you only pay when a user clicks on your listing. So that is one of the main differences. Is I, as a user, if I click on the paid ad, the advertiser is going to get charged for that click. If I click on an organic link, that advertiser is not going to get charged. So just some stats on Google, because a lot of what I go through today, it will be with Google in mind. 160 billion monthly Google searches. I don't think that will really come as a shock to anyone, but it's just to show that Google really is the biggest search engine at the minute. And something to just think about, 15% of all daily searches on Google have never been searched before. So the searches that a user is actually typing into Google, 15% of them are new. No other user has searched on that same phrase. So that's a really important thing to consider. So PPC ad versus organic ads. So let's look at paid. So as we've already mentioned, with paid, the traffic is paid. Advertisers have to pay for their ad to be clicked on. Okay, it doesn't cost anything to set up the account. However, when the ad is clicked on, it does cost. Organic, on the other hand, the traffic is, we would say, free. So when a user clicks on an organic ad, they will not get, the advertiser, sorry, will not get charged for that. So let's go back over to paid. It's faster and more straightforward means to serve clickable links on the search engine result pages. So when you, or if you set up an ad within Google Ads, you can pretty much get on to the first page straight away. If you have the budget and you're able to pay for those clicks, you can pretty much get yourself on the search engine straight away. Organic, on the other hand, it isn't instant. The results do take time, they do take work. So it's not a means where you can do your SEO activity and get your organic ads showing on the first page the next day. It won't work like that. Paid results show at the top or very bottom of the SERP with a small ad note in the copy. So it does say ad next to it. Now, the organic results always tend to show below the paid results. So the paid results are at the top, organic are underneath them. So as a user who may not fully understand the difference between paid and organic, you would tend to go to those at the top of the page. Now, with paid, shorter and more control over the ad copy. So as an advertiser, you would write that ad copy. You would specifically choose the wording. Within organic results, they are dynamically created by the search engine organic algorithm. So there are things that you can do with your SEO activity to try and ensure that Google does pull out the relevant snippets that you would want them to, but it's not as controlled as if it was a paid ad. So when to use paid search activity. So when you need more bookings or leads to your website or business, like we mentioned earlier, it's quick. You can get your ads onto Google pretty quickly. So if you are behind in bookings for a certain time frame or leads, it's perfect for that. You can get it up and running and you can start getting traffic to your site to pull in those bookings and leads. To get higher rankings in the search results, as mentioned in the previous slide, again, you can get your ad on the first page pretty quickly, much quicker than you would be able to with your organic listings. For new websites with little or no traffic, so these sites always tend to be I wouldn't say a problem, but they tend to not be able to get traffic straight away because they may not be listed naturally in the search engine result pages. So if you have a new site and you want to get traffic to that site pretty much straight away, then paid search is perfect because you can get traffic to that site. It's also brilliant for time-sensitive campaigns. So if you have any Valentine's Day offers or Mother Day offers or any seasonal offers, you can again get it up and running just in time to match those seasonality trends. And it's also great to form part of a full marketing strategy with other online and offline campaigns. So you can ensure that your ad copy is matching up with whatever you are doing outside of online, whether it be TV adverts, any local press, anything like that. It can really help marry things together. And also it's great for brand awareness. So if you have an advertiser, or sorry, a user who is searching on your keywords, then for them to see your ad come up, it does obviously resonate with brand awareness. So when not to use paid search advertising. So there are areas where I would say it's not the best technique. Some of these would be, so when the cost to get the booking or lead exceeds the value of the conversion. So you've got to remember with paid search, you are paying for those clicks. If you end up paying more for your clicks than it costs for an entire booking or lead, then you're losing money. So that is not a good idea for you. Also, for poor quality websites where the conversion rate is low. So again, it's based on getting users to your site. You've paid to get them there, but if you know for whatever reason your site doesn't convert very well, then you're paying for nothing. You're paying to get them there, but they will not convert when they get to your site. And if you know that about your site, this isn't the right technique for you. Also, when competition has driven the price per click high and your budget and margins are low. So it does marry into the first one that I mentioned, when the cost to get the booking is too high. So in some sectors, the cost per click can be really high. So IT can be a really high, have a high cost per click. Travel sector can have a really high cost per click. And sometimes if the competition around you is driving up that cost per click, it may be that you just cannot compete because at the end of the day, your budgets or your margins are very low, so you just would not be able to compete. And that also goes into budget. So if you do not have sufficient budget, so if you only have a little bit of budget that is not going to get you very many clicks, again, it may not be the right activity for you. When your product or service has low profit margins, so it goes back to understanding again, you are paying for these clicks. If your if your margins are very, very low, then you'll probably end up spending more than you get back, in which case you're losing money. So it's not the best approach for low margin areas. And there are also certain sectors where you actually wouldn't be able to do paid search. So certain forbidden or restricted business areas. So there are a few of those. They would mainly fall into health areas, anything spammy. So there are certain areas where you would not be able to run paid search ads. So the elements of paid search advertising, they really fall into a few groups. So firstly, keywords. So keywords refer to what people are looking for and how you target these people's searches. So you will decide which keywords you would like to bid on. So you will say to the search engine, when a user searches for these keywords, I would like my ads to show. So the ads are what users will see when they search on the search engine. And what you want to do is ensure the ad copy that you provide to the search engines is very relevant to the keyword that has been typed in, and also to what the user will see when they click on the ad. So when they click on the ad, they will then be taken to a landing page. So that will ideally be the landing page on your website. It could be the home page. It could be a more specific page, which marries up to the keyword that was originally typed in. But what you want to ensure is that your keywords match up to your ad copy, which then matches up to your landing page. And that would show a really great user experience to the search engines, and therefore make the quality of the account that you set up a lot better. You will also need something called conversion tracking. So when you set up paid search activity, none of this will mean anything if you don't know what this traffic is driving and the results that you are getting back. And conversion tracking is what you need. So conversion tracking shows you what happens after a customer interacts with your ad. So what happens when they land on your website. So when a customer completes an action that you've defined as valuable, these customer actions are called conversions. And you can specify what you want this conversion action to be. So, I mean, some examples of this could be a conversion point would be when a user goes ahead and makes a booking. It could be when they've gone in, they filled an inquiry form, or they've decided to call you. So you really have control over what a conversion is to you. And basically within the search engines, it's a snippet of code that that search engine provides, and you will place it on the page where your conversion will happen. There are guides on how to do this, and sometimes it may be a little bit more technical depending on what your conversion point actually is, but it's something that you will definitely need when doing paid search, because like I said, it will mean nothing if you don't know the results that are actually being driven. Now, in terms of what you can actually track, so if we look at Google, for instance, where you would set up the account is called Google Ads. So all these search engines will provide information for you so you can see how your paid search activity is doing. So if we look at traffic, so it will show you the impressions. So that is the number of times your ad copy was actually shown on a search engine. It will show you clicks. So it will show you, okay, so you got an impression, how many people actually clicked on those ads? And then it will also give you your click-through rate, which is the percentage of those people. So of the people who saw an impression, so saw your ad, what is the percentage of those who actually went through and clicked? You also will be able to see your cost, which is very important. So how much you've actually spent, your cost per click. So how much you actually paid to get a click or get those clicks, and also cost per conversion, which is very important. So that will look at how much you spent and how many conversions you've got and how much it cost you to get that conversion. So cost per conversion is a really important one. And to be able to get that cost per conversion, you do need your conversion set up like we just spoke about. So a conversion could be a lead, it could be a goal, it could be a purchase. So it is really up to you what you want to define as a conversion and how you want it to work with everything else. Now, if you have any monetary value assigned, so if you're an e-commerce site, if your bookings took some monetary value, you can also track that as well. So you can track the revenue that this click and this conversion has generated, and you can then tie it back into your return on investment, return on ad spend, average order value. So you can really see, I spent X amount and the revenue that it generated was X amount. And you can really work out if it's working for you. And if not, you can take steps to try and make it more profitable. So what is the actual process of paid search advertising? So if it's something that you're looking to do, I'm just going to give you a really quick snapshot of what it would involve. So the first thing that you would need to do is set up an account. So if we take Google, for instance, you would need to set up what we call a Google Ads account. Now, to set up this account is absolutely free. You don't need to pay to have the account or even to set up the campaigns. The only thing that you will pay for are your clicks. So you would go ahead and you would set up your account. You would then choose the most relevant key phrases that you would like to bid on, and you would structure it accordingly, which I will go on to in a further slide. You would then write your ads in your ad copy, and then each ad copy would assign a landing page. So that is saying when a user searches on these key phrases, they click on the ad, which landing page of my website do I want them to go across to? You would then set your bids. So how much are you willing to pay for a click? It's not how much you'll actually pay, but you're telling Google, okay, how much am I willing to pay? And it's based on this bid and other quality factors in the account that determine the position that your ad would show in. What then happens once your account is active is you will show in a certain position. When a user clicks on your ad, it is at that point that you will pay for a click. Prior to that, you would not have paid Google anything. So like I said, it doesn't cost anything to set up the account, do your key phrase research, create your ad copy. You pay at the point that somebody clicks on your ad. They would then click on your ad, they would go through to your website. Not everybody will convert, but when a user does convert, this will be recorded as well. So you will have a conversion pulled through into your Google Ads account, so you would be able to see which key phrase converted, which ad copy converted. So that's really useful for you because you can then start what we call the optimization process. And this is really important. And this is where you look at your account and you refine your account, and the strategy side of things will come in. So you will see which keywords are working, which keywords aren't working, which ad copies are working, which ad copies aren't working. What message are you putting out there? Is it relevant? How much are you paying for a click? So this whole process is called the optimization process. And the great thing about it is you can go back and you can change things at any point. You can pause keywords that you've decided to bid on, or you can add new ones in. You can change the ad copy, the landing page, the bid. So nothing is ever set in stone with these accounts. You can change the majority of aspects in the account to make it better and improve your results. Now, in terms of an account structure and how it works, you have your overall account, and then you can have different campaigns within this account. You can pretty much have as many as you want. I'm talking thousands, so you can have a good number of campaigns. Now, at the campaign level is where you set your budget. So that is a daily budget of how much you are willing to spend. And within each campaign, you then have smaller ad groups. And within these ad groups, you have clusters of relevant keywords. And to those keywords, you want a very relevant ad copy. And when you create the ad copy, that is where you decide where your users will be taken through to. So what their landing page will be. So I know that probably sounds really confusing. So let's look at it in practice. So you have your overarching account. And then what we have here is we have two campaigns. So we have a campaign focused around hotels, and we have a campaign focused around venue hire. So let's go over to hotels. So within the hotels campaign, we have two ad groups. And again, you can have as many ad groups as you like. So we're talking thousands. So within the hotels campaign, we will have hotels, an ad group called hotels near, and then a certain location. So let's just make it Leicester. So hotels near Leicester. Now within this ad group, all the keywords within that ad group will be relevant to hotels near Leicester. So different combinations, but it will be relevant to hotels near Leicester, which then means your ad copy will also mention and be focused around hotels near Leicester. So it keeps the whole relevancy flowing. Now, still in the hotels campaign, we also want to talk about the fact that it's a luxury hotel. So the keywords within this ad group will be focused around luxury hotels, which therefore means your ad copy will be focused around luxury hotels. So what you're doing is you're focusing on a campaign and breaking down the keywords within your ad groups that would focus around your campaign theme. So if we then go over, and another campaign that we've got is venue hire. So this same hotel, obviously it is a hotel, but you are also able to book this venue. So you want keywords focused around that as well. So that is a separate campaign. It will probably be that you may want a separate budget for that. Maybe you want to put more into it, less, but having it as a separate campaign means you can split that out. And the ad groups within this one would be focused around quality venue hire and venue hire near Leicester, let's say. So again, the keywords within those ad groups and the ad copy would be very specific to the keywords that are within the account. Now, when it comes to keyword research, it's really important to do some good keyword research. So the aim with keyword research is to identify keywords that are relevant to your product or service. So you really want to understand how your users are searching. Now, in terms of carrying out keyword research, there are a number of ways that you can do this. So there's something called the Google Ads Keyword Planner, where you can go to this tool and you can put in some suggested keywords, and then Google will come back to you with some more suggested keywords focused around what you put in. Google searches themselves, if you go onto Google and start searching on something, you'll notice that Google also gives you some suggestions of what it thinks you're looking for. So again, pick from those what's relevant, what's not. If you're doing any SEO activity, you could look at, well, what are my organic keyword targets? Are these something that I'm also willing to bid on? You can look at your own website or your competitor's website and just go around and have a look and pick out words that are relevant to your offering. And also logic. What would you use to search for your product or service? Remember going back to one of the slides I showed you where 15% of searches on Google's never seen before. So it's not wrong at all to think, well, I would search on this, let me include these keywords. Also keep in mind your budget, because you are going to have to pay for these keywords should they receive a click. So generic keywords tend to be more competitive, therefore they tend to spend a lot. So just keep that in mind. You would probably want to have some generic keywords. However, if your budget does not permit, you might want to go down a more specific route. Now, in terms of the keywords, when you pick them, there is something called match types. So you can say to Google, okay, this is the keyword that I want to bid on, but Google, I want you to see it broadly, or I want you to see it quite specifically. So this slide really breaks down how those keywords are seen. So we've got exact match keywords, phrase match keywords, broad match keywords, broad modified, and negative. So within this slide, it is showing you the difference between what the different match types are, but it's really helping you when it comes to your keywords to say to Google, okay, do I need this exact keyword to match when a user searches, or do I want it broadly matched? So again, going back to the fact that new searches happen on Google every day, you may not want your keywords to exactly match all the time. You may want to give Google some room to broadly match to other keywords. So there's a slide here that will help you when it comes to knowing which match types to go for. Couple of tips. You don't need to add plurals when you are adding in your keywords. So you wouldn't need to add event management and event managements. Not that makes sense, but Google or the search engines will know that the plurals are the same thing. And also build negative keywords as well. So there are things that you won't want to be found for that could be associated with your keyword. So jobs is always one that we go for. If that's not specifically what you do, then jobs is always a brilliant one to add in as a negative. Now thinking about your ad copy. So things to consider when creating your ad. So you want your ad copy to be highly relevant to a user search. So it goes back to the keywords that are being searched on. You would want the ad copy to be relevant. So it has to be relevant to what a user has searched on, and it has to be relevant to the landing page that they are going to land on. Ad copy should encourage click-throughs and conversions. So indicate in the ad what action you want the user to take. So if you want them to come onto the site and book, you would want to make that clear in the ad copy. If you wanted them to just come and get some more information, you can include that in the ad copy. So make it clear what they can expect when they get onto your site. Now, when it comes to ads, and testing it against another ad. So is there a combination of text that works really well? Is there a call to action that works really well? So what you actually want them to do when they get to the site. So continuously ensure that you optimize these ads. And so because of that, what you want to do is test at least 3 ad copies per ad group at one time. And also keep an eye on what your competitors are doing. How can you be just as good as them or even better? Now, what makes a good ad? So a strong call to action. So it's a CTA. What do you want that user to do when they get onto your site? Include the features and the benefits and your USPs. So you really need to stand out from your competitors. Make sure you can get as many of those factors into your ad copy as possible. Any special offers that you do, again, what will make you stand out from the competitors? Include your brand within your ad copy. It will show as the display URL, but also include it within the text, because if you've got a strong brand, it will encourage a user to click through. And if you are a brand that is new, it will help with brand awareness. So the user can straight away know, okay, this is the brand. And also local aspects, include them within your ad copy. If you are focusing on a certain geographic location, include that within your ad copy. So a user knows that, okay, this ad is local to me, and that tends to resonate well. So what is not allowed when you are doing your ads? So you can't have excessive capitalization, it's just not allowed. Excessive punctuation, so exclamation points or anything slang is not allowed. So you do have character limits when you write your ad copy. So don't be tempted to use the number 2 instead of the word to, or the @ symbol instead of @ because it just won't be allowed by the networks. Trademarked or copyrighted terms and content. So you can bid on competitor terms, but you wouldn't want to include any competitors in your ad copy unless you have permission or you're a legitimate third-party seller. Certain prohibited products you can't include within your ad copy. So there are strict regulations against things like alcohol or tobacco. So there are specific areas where there's certain things you would not be allowed to say in your ad copy. You can't include full-on phone numbers, that's not allowed, and you can't have unsubstantiated claims. So you can't say things like #1 or best in the business unless it's on your landing page or it's supported by some kind of third party. So you can't just use those claims out of nowhere. And trick to click, we call it. So you can't have text such as click here, because that is seen quite spammy by Google, and again, they will not allow it. Okay, so where to show your ads. Now, there are some clever things that you can do in Google Ads, and it will probably be focused more in, say, an advanced session, but just as a taster of some of the things you can do. Now, when it comes to devices, have a think, are your users searching on all devices? Because you don't actually have to show on all devices, or you can amend your bids by device. So if you know that desktops outperform mobile, then it may be that you push more into your desktop bids than mobiles, or vice versa. Geo-targeting, so where are your customers based? You don't have to focus everywhere. So for the UK, for instance, you don't have to focus on the entire UK. If you know that you want to focus just a certain radius around a specific postcode, you can do that. You can focus on just certain cities, you can do that. So you can get really specific as to where your ads actually show and where they don't show. And also think about the language. So if you're in the UK, you probably would want local language, so English text ads, because your landing page is going to be in English, but you can do international as well. So if you are international and you would like French ads, that's fine as well. You can do that. So you can target internationally, and then you can add keywords in local languages and ad copy as well. So there's some really clever stuff that you can do. So that was everything. It was a very brief overview, and it's something to get you started. But what we've got here, if you're interested and you want to know, well, what more can it do? Because paid search can do a lot more. There are a few links here that we can provide that can help you look into things such as remarketing. So remarketing is when you can target users who have already been to your site, and you can do that with just your search ads. So that's something really clever to do. You can do dynamic search ads. So that's where you say to the search engines, okay, rather than me give you the keywords, you go away and you have a look at my website and you suggest what you think, which searches you think we should be shown for. You've got scripts and automation. So that goes into where you are allowing Google to control certain aspects of your account. And you can also do clever things with attribution. So when you say which keywords and ad copy led to a conversion, how deep into that do you want to go? And there's also display advertising and YouTube advertising, which is run through the search engine accounts. So that is definitely something for you to look at as well. So thank you. We hope you enjoyed this session and it helped give you a basic understanding of what paid search is. And if you have any questions, do just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurpreet. I have just seen one question come through at the moment for you, Gurpreet, which was that if you want to advertise in Sweden, do you have to make sure that the language is in Swedish?
Okay, so there's two ways to look at this. The way you have to think is if your ad copy is in English and you are targeting via English keywords, then your landing page and the rest of your site can be in English because it follows through. Ideally, however, if your keywords that you're targeting are not in English, so I'll keep this quite general, if they're in any language, you want to make sure that the landing page then matches up to the language of the ad copy, because it's great for user experience and things like that.
Great. Was there any other questions that we had for Gurpreet whilst we have got her here? I know a few of you are asking for us to share the deck, which we will do so.
I can upload that now while we're talking.
Yeah, okay, great. Gurpreet's going to upload that. Can't see any questions coming in at the moment. Okay then, right, what? Okay, one from John. How do you identify high-performing keywords that may be lower in cost to bid on?
So the best way to do that would probably, your first point of call would be the keyword planner that was mentioned within one of the slides. And it's a case of doing a bit of keyword research. You do want to identify, like you said, keywords that will get you good volume. You can get an indication possibly of the type of cost per click you will need. But one thing I would say is when you use the keyword planner, just bear in mind it is Google's estimates. They're estimates only, so it's not set in stone. That they are the results that you would receive, but it's a great place for your first point of call.
We just had another one come in as well. Can you track organic performance as the paid one?
So if generally you're asking about tracking organic performance, that wouldn't come through within the Google Ads account. But what you can do is check your Google Analytics account. And within your Analytics account, you would also be able to see your Google Ads activity. So you would be able to compare them against each other if that's what you're looking to do.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Gurpreet. The handout is available just in the handout tab. For those of you who haven't joined us before, we do also offer a free access to our training resources, so our online learning portal. So I've just sent a little link out there for yourselves if you want to get some free training material. We also offer our DMI training course, which actually starts next week, but there will be other dates coming up. So if you want to know a bit more and looking to get a DMI or a CIM qualification, then feel free to get in touch. We also have an offer on that at the moment. But thank you so much, everyone. Sorry it was a bit shorter than normal, but it looks like you guys got a lot out of it anyway. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. So thank you very much.